Testing, 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 testing. All right. Wait for you guys to get up in here. So that's where my chat is. Hold on. Do I got to turn this up more? Oh, man. So this is my first stream here. Hold on. Let me go ahead and go into Discord real quick. Yo, what up? What is up? What is up? Oh, man. I can't believe I'm live on YouTube. Finally. Okay. Um, I don't know how I feel about it. I feel great though. Let me go. I got to tell the main people that I'm doing this. So like we are live on the YouTube. So, guys, I am so unprepared for this. I know I'm supposed to be prepared and all this other stuff, but you know, it's our first day. It's our first day. Let's go. Ba, 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 ba. Put the link in the Discord, Lord. At everyone. I'm live on the YouTube. All right, cool. Shout out Cielica. You know what? I wish I had the thing. I wish I had the thing where I could do. Oh my God, am I frozen? Let me know if I'm frozen. Oh my God. It's all good. We're still gonna rock with it. Screw it. We're gonna go to Illustrator down here. Are my screen stuck? We're having that. Oh my God. We hate it here. We hate it here. Oh God. At least I know my chat's working. I mean, that's good. At least, like, what is happening right now? Let me see. Do I have to turn this off? Let me see if I can turn this off. Okay, close. Okay. Oh my God. Yo, guys, technical difficulties, man. Like, um, wait a minute. Wait a minute. I'm back. I'm back. Yes, 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 yes. Sorry. Oh, is that Cassie? What's up? What is up? Yo, we back. We live. We live, baby. We live. Okay, okay. Whew, don't do that to me again. Don't do that to me again. Oh man, I swear, like the technical difficulties were like real with this one, man. Like, still trying to figure out. Okay, okay, all right. So we're on the screen now. Let me see what I can do to get my artwork on the screen. And this, I don't know why it's going to like my thingy over here. So let me see if I got to turn this off. Okay, turn this off, turn it back on, or do I have to? Oh my God. You see? It's not a Timmy stream unless we have technical difficulties. So, welcome to my stream where we have full on technical difficulties, even though this is supposed to be about Illustrator, how to make your line work. Um, let's see. Okay. Illustrator, do you love me? Do you love me? Let me see. Window capture. Illustrator, yes. Guys, I swear to God, I'm gonna get this together. I'm gonna get this together. Guys, if you're now just tuning in, I am the technically incapable Timmy McFly, and I'm supposed to be going over some line work here today. But you know, hey, it's our first time here. Usually, I used to be on Twitch, but you know, Twitch is Twitch. So let's go ahead and get into it. So I'm gonna show you how to do line work on Illustrator, so that way your line work doesn't really suck, right? So there's a couple of things that we want to consider when doing the ye old line work, right? So you want to start off by getting your your illustration, right? Um, the one thing that I do know is that some people are going to be like, why don't you just do this in Photoshop? Well, the thing is, I'm a graphic designer, and what that means for me at least is that like I use a lot of vectors, right? So like if I'm using vectors or anything else like of the sort, it's because I'm usually doing something that either has to go to print and the size may vary, right? So I want to make sure that I have the same quality all the time, and I also want to cheat as I do my line work, if that makes sense. So we're gonna start off with this guy. I don't know who he is or who he's gonna be, but it's some random thing that I drew, and we're just going to do it to it, right? Let us see here. Where's my chat box thingy? Um, hold on, people. I'm gonna get it together. Aha, there we go. Hold on, can I get this to stay on time? Let me see. Participants and feedback. Okay, top chat, live chat. Bam. Hey, can one of you guys type in the chat for me real quick? I want to see something. Welcome to. Oh, so weird. So weird. Okay. Cool. Thank you so much, guys. All right. All right. So let's go ahead and get into this thing. Bam. The place that I like to start is I like to start on the eyes. Um, because the eyes is no other reason outside of just instant gratification. That's just the way I like to do it. Yo, Zarth, man. Welcome back, bro. Welcome back. This is our first stream on the U of Two, man. And like, so far we had some technical difficulties, but you guys know if it's a Timmy stream, we're going to have technical difficulties the first couple of times around. So, with that being said, man, welcome you to the stream. Welcome. And if you guys are new here, don't forget to hit that little follow button or that subscribe button, was they call it, because I know we're on a different platform now, so I got to get used to the jargon here. But make yourself at home. Be part of the Soul Food Dojo, right? So yeah, so without further ado, let's get into this thing. So I'm just going to go ahead and pick my pen tool. So with pen tool, this is where all the magic happens, right? So like I'm just going to go ahead and just go with the standard black here. And what I want to do is I want to kind of overshoot my lines at first. I want to make sure all my lines are going where they need to be. Okay, so let's go. Bam. There we go. So this little guy right here is the Bezier handle, right? Want to just make sure your Beziers are all up in line. That's an interesting word to say, Bezier. Let's see. Let me go ahead and put this down. Put this down. And yo, you in Cali right now? Like right now getting beers with some guys, but figured out. Yo, my man. Yo, like the live too. Like the live. Yeah, yo, Casper, I feel you. Thank you so much for, you know what I'm saying, all your hard work, man. Like I really need all the support today. Let's see here. What can I do? What can I do? Hold on, guys. Give me 1 second. It's because my chat keeps disappearing from OBS, and I'm just trying to figure out, like, okay. Okay. All right. Boom. Click. All right. Yeah, Casper is the best. Is the best at all times. There's so much newness here. I am trying to, and it's not letting me do it. There's a chat doc. What? There's a chat. No, what? Yo, OBS, where did you go? Oh. Uh, the thing is, I'm doing this on Mac, and Mac is just making things extremely different, like extremely difficult for no reason. You know what I'm saying? I know this is all like on PC. I would have never had this problem. Well, Tim, you should have been in PC then. I know. Like, but I'm a knucklehead. I'll take that. Let's see. Tools. Y'all gonna hear me make a whole lot of old man noises like okay. So we're gonna have docs. Let me see. Control stats. It's like I see the chat here. Sailor, what is up? Welcome to the fam bam. Welcome part of the squad. Welcome to the Soul Food Dojo. All right. So I see it here, but every time that I try to click onto my other screen, it just disappears. And so, beareth with me. You know what? Duh. This is what I can do. I'm just gonna watch my own stream. There we go. We're just gonna go to my channel. There we go. It does on mine. It does on mine because Mac hates me. Like, Mac hates me. It's like, you quit, Apple. So therefore, we no longer love you. Okay. So yeah. So I got it. I got it up now. It's working. Hopefully. Okay. So let's get back into this line work here. Yeah. Like as I was saying before, man. Like when it comes down to like Illustrator and doing your line work, I don't think there's anything kind of superior to this, especially like if you're doing like vector lines, because this gives you a good feel of like your lines where they are, and then you can actually manipulate. You can manipulate the whole entire shape, right? So if I wanted to start over here, and then let's say if I wanted to, kind of change the expression as I go along. So the thing is, I don't have to be married to my sketch as I would if I just, started off doing this one thing, right? So like if I were to go into like Photoshop or anything else like that, I would have to be married to this line. Or if I wanted to get rid of it, I would just have to delete it. And it doesn't really give me much room to edit. So when I draw, I'm a little bit of a lazy drawer, right? So like I want to make sure that everything is why I need it to be and I can manipulate it the way I want to. So so I can do a couple of tricks here. And then for those of you who don't know about the shift tool, the shift wicket tool, or what I like to call the widthening tool here. Oh, okay. Bam. Here we go. So with shift wicket, we can do something like this. We can take our curvature tool and then we can put any type of curve and stuff into it as we want to. And then I can have things connect, I can have things disconnect, and then I can control the width of this guy. And so I can also control like the caps as well. So like it doesn't have that flat cap. I can go ahead and just put like a little bit of a bulb on it. So the only reason why I don't like putting the bulbs on it on top, because sometimes when you put on the stroke, right, and you put this cap on it, it can look something like a little bit of like a sperm cell. So I try not to do that too much, right? So here, let's go make this guy here. Boom. Yep, it's Apple. Okay. And I just want to bend things, right? I'm liking how this is looking so far. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get as much detail that as I can without having to rely on the sketch too much. The thing about doing like vector shapes and whatnot, like it gives me the freedom to just like have things perfect off the bat. And I know that's like, well, Tim, wasn't that the like reason as to why you want to have things like in Photoshop, you get kind of like full autonomy. Not really. Not really. So if I go here, boom, like I said, instant gratification. I don't have to draw this thing. I can just, manipulate it, mold it to my liking. So grab this guy, bring it in the upward direction. And then also I can zoom in too. So another reason why I do vectors a lot is because vectors don't really use pixels. I know that's a weird thing to kind of say, especially like if you never used vectors before. So vectors actually run on the mathematical based system, right? So like these are actually equations. So like no matter what size you render at, you don't have to worry about the rasterization, or you don't have to worry about the little like aliasing or the pixels or whatever. And that's just because we are working with math here versus working with actual, whoops, like actual pixels, right? So this kind of gives you a lot more freedom with the quality as well. So like, let's say if you wanted to bounce out to like not Illustrator, but Instagram or whatever platform you use, you can definitely, like put down the pixels over from like 300 to like 150 and still have like that decent quality that you're looking for. And we're going to do a little bit of shift wicked here. Do that width tool. Oh yeah, like vectors is where it's at. Vectors is definitely where it's at. Um, the cool thing about vectors is just like I said, you can manipulate every part of the line, and then you can actually add more to your drawing as you're going. Like, so that's like one of my like quote unquote secrets is like I like using the thin to thick method that you see in most comic books, right? But the way that you want to go about it is basically you just want to kind of think about like if it's a thicker line, that means the subject is going to be a lot closer to you. And if it's a thinner line, then the subject is going to be a lot further from you. It's just like having the lights to dark, right? So like, I mean, actually, no. Sorry, scratch that. If it's like the thicker the line, the further away it is to you, the lighter the line, the closer it is to you. So like the side of the face here will be a thicker line, and then it will go into a thinner concept. So it'll be just like lights to darks. Like if you have your lights are the things that bring things up, and then your like shadows are the things that bring things back. It's the same kind of concept. So let us move. Yeah. And I want to bring this about here. And then guess what? We're going to hit Shift W, or what I like to call Shift Wicked. All right. Guys, don't mind me. I'm a D&D nerd. So, I'm going to make so many references here. There we go. Aha. Yeah, I mean, like, that's the thing that, like, that is awesome about like using vectors or coloring comics or anything in general, right? Is that you kind of get to use your traditional art tricks right here in this software, and the same thing applies. Like the fundamentals are the fundamentals, right? And the thing that I like about the thing I like about like vectors and stuff like that is like, let's say like in Photoshop, if I move this guy around, you know what I mean? Like I would have to lock down a layer. The thing is, I don't have to do that with this. All I would have to do here is like I can just go and put like Command 2 or Control 2 on the Mac, and then boom, I don't have to worry about like moving this, and then I'm free to do and move around the page as I want to. So like as we are going here, whoops. Like we have our eye going, and the thing about this is that I just noticed that this is a little bit too short. So now all I would have to do is I can get my directional selection tool here, and then I can just whoops, let me go ahead and undo that. I can just click this and then just bring this out a little bit further. And then I can just manipulate things as I go, right? And then boom, now we're back on solid ground. So same things apply. I'm looking here, I'm looking at an eyelid here. And then the thing is, like, when you sketch, your sketch is just a sketch. So you don't really want to like follow this verbatim, because 9 times out of 10 in your sketch, you really didn't do as good as you thought you did. That's why I never get married to the sketches. So I just use them as like just a foundation. So I kind of want to feel out what the character is telling me. I know that sounds like kind of hippy dippy, but like every character that you make, even if it's an OC or someone else's, just doing fan art, all of them have a personality. And I try to make those lines match that personality, right? So if there's like someone who's like strong and powerful, I try to make those lines as bold as possible. And like I will probably make some sharp corners. If this is like nonchalant, like this guy here, like I'm just gonna make things a little bit cool, like thick to thin, just like very fundamental, right? And if I decided that I wanted to kind of change it up, all I have to do is just go inside and just change those lines up, and then I can just get a different feeling altogether. Okay, and then let's go ahead and play with that curvature real quick. Boom, bow. And just like that. We're getting our eyelid done, and we have some stuff happening here. We are seeing the eye take form. Are we done? Not by a long shot, but we have just gotten further, because in Photoshop, like let's say if you're drawing these kind of lines, what you're doing is you're going to be drawing the shape. So like let's say if I wanted to, let's go ahead and expand this. So like if I go to object, expand appearance, now this turns into a shape. So this is what you would probably do in Photoshop. So you would draw out the outline first and then fill it in, right? Versus just thickening where you need those spots to be thinking at. So that's why for me, vectors are super important, because it just saves a lot of time, right? Especially like if you're like, let's say if you're trying to do things like comic books or whatever, this is what, um, you'll get done. Like you'll get done a lot quicker. I mean, so yeah, like Casper, like, yeah, you never want to get, what you call it? Never want to get married to the sketches. Like I know so many people who do, and it's like, well, I'm like, the reason why it comes like this is because like you're kind of killing your creativity by getting married to the sketch too early. You know what I mean? It's like don't fully commit. You know what I mean? It's like sort of like dating in a sense. Like you don't want to commit too early to something you don't really know, or like somebody you don't really know, right? And that's the thing with your art. Like you really don't know this person yet, right? You're getting to know that person. Like you're going out for the coffee first, all the different things, right? So yeah, don't get married, guy. And then by the end, like you think, they show you exactly who they are and you're content with it. Then that's when you get married. You know what I mean? um, man, I sound like an old person. But yeah, that's how I kind of learned art is like never get married to the first thing that you create. You always want to give it a chance to like show you who they are first, and then make the decision from there. Another thing is vectors are really good with eyebrows too. So like if I go here, like as you can see, got some really thick eyebrow things going here. So if I just wanted to put this line here, boom, I have that. Get my shift wicked on, booyah kasha. Just get my curvature tool, and then just like that, I have my eyebrows set. Whoops. Uh, Go my shift wicked here. I can bring it down. I can bring this part in. if I want to bring another part down. So like, let's say if I wanted to change the expression, I can. I just with that, I can just change expressions if I want to. So we went from just a normal looking pose to kind of looking worried a little bit, right? So that's why I like vectors. Like you can actually play around with like different expressions and stuff as you go forward. So the one thing is, it's just like the eyebrow here is a little bit too high. That's why you never really want to get married to the sketches, because this is going to show you the truth of the mistakes that you're making. And so the mistake that I made was I put this point way too up here, like way too up here where it's supposed to be a little bit around here. So that means I just got to bring the rest of this down to possibly like right around here. And then I can just change some things up. Maybe even make it a little bit more interesting, adding a little bit more curvature to it. And then what I can do here is then I can shift wicked one more time. And cool. So I actually like this shape right here. So this is another thing that I like here is that like I can go ahead, turn this from a line and turn it to an actual shape. So like I can go to like the object tab, go to expand appearance, and then this, and then what I can do is I can further manipulate this. I can take a corner, I can take a corner, manipulate it like so. Take this and manipulate it like so. And I can move these things around to give it the shape that I want to. So you see how it looks all janky and stuff like right here? Well, you can go into something called the smooth tool here, and then you can definitely help yourself out. So the way that I would do it, just go ahead and select that, boom. And then you just get it smooth to where you want it to. And then you do the bottom, same way. Bam, bam. Um, Actually, it just depends. On average, like let's say if I'm just doing this by myself and I'm not streaming or anything, I can line the sketch probably like in maybe an hour or two. Because the thing is, like, I can have the whole thing like lined up in probably like 15 minutes. But again, like, I'm not like as I'm doing this on top of the sketch, I may see something that I may like, and then I may explore the rabbit hole. So that is why, like, it may take me a little bit of a while to do these things. So one thing that like is like a pet peeve of mine when I see like people do like eyebrows, they kind of forget this part here. Like your eyebrow isn't just like this shape. Your eyebrow has hair to it. So that means like when you're doing something like this, you want to make sure that like you kind of have some type of representation that you know that there is hair, that this is made out of hair and not like some solid block, right? And so like that's why I like using these um as an example. So like let's go bring this over to this side, and then what I'm just going to do here is I'm just going to bring this one just a little bit over this way. Right there, right? So once you hit that shift wicked tool one more time, boom, boom. And then you just close these tabs up just like that. And then like you can just move these around till they fit. And boom, we have an actual eyebrow now, which is fantastic. So the cool thing about this is like, okay, I like how this works. So I'm just gonna go ahead and expand these things again. And then what I can also do is I can actually make this whole entire thing one shape. So now they don't have to flow independently of each other. And so I know a lot of people will tell you it's like, oh, I wouldn't do that right now. Fuck that. I will. Like that. That's just how I roll, man. And so cool. We're like the eye is still taking shape, but we are still not out the woods quite yet, right? So like this, I want to elongate it a little bit more. So I'm just gonna bring this over here like so, and I'm gonna take my curvature tool and kind of just bring back that curve a little bit, like to right there, and there we go, boom. And so, whoops. So with this guy here, let me go ahead and kind of get some things going. I want this corner to kind of be over here. So that just gives me another point to manipulate. So the thing is, the eyes aren't perfectly round, right? As much as we try to draw them that way, they're not that perfectly round. So what you want to do is you want to kind of have some imperfections in your art as well, because if anything looks too solid, then you start, then it's like overly worked, and then it doesn't look good. Even though it may be technically sound, it just won't look good, right? So, um, I like the eyes are like the most human part, even if this was a fictional character. So like think about like characters like Gojo and stuff like that. Like a lot of people like him because he's cool and everything, but the one thing that you can't really miss with him is those eyes. Like those eyes of his are just, what draws you in. Same thing with like Sasuke and all the other different things. Hiei from Yu Yu Hakusho. Those are the things that kind of draw you in to characters like that, right? So as I'm looking at this, what I want to do is I want to kind of bring, um, I want to kind of bring the tear duct of the eye out a little bit more, right? So the way that I'm gonna do that is instead of making lines and stuff like that, I'm just gonna make this little dot here, and then I'm just gonna go ahead and make that a solid object here, and then I'm just now gonna take my ends here. And just look at it. Now we're getting somewhere. So I can take this and shrink it down. Um, honestly, I would say probably about the way I'm doing it now, probably like 5 years. And the thing is, like I started realizing that the style that I have is just based off of the fundamentals I like, right? So that's the whole thing about art, right? Is like a lot of people they'll have you like think that you need to have this kind of style where no, it's just your understanding of the fundamentals. So you can pretty much pull off anything you want to as long as you have a decent understanding of the fundamentals, right? That's pretty much all you need. So if you get wrapped up in style, you're not going to learn anything, right? The only thing is, remember, like when you're learning from different artists, you're not really learning anything outside of just them having great fundamentals, right? And once you realize that, it becomes easier to kind of develop your own system of doing things. Because let's say if I watch a Mark Brunette tutorial, right? Like I will find something that I like from it, and then I would just use that one thing, like a technique, but I will do it in my own way, right? Because all art is exploratory. And that's why learning shapes are important. I know it kind of sounds like elementary to say that, but you'd be surprised how many people really don't have a grasp on like shapes and whatnot. Whoops. Okay. Right there should do. And I know it sounds like this right here is such a non-factor, but because I'm like zoomed in so close and whatnot, like sometimes it's easy to get lost here. because this is not going to help the drawing at all whatsoever. This is just going to be something I just want to do for the heck of it. So, there we go. There's something satisfying about when lines meet together. Okay, sorry. Boom. Hey guys, if you're now just tuning in, my name is Timmy McFly, and we're going over how to make your line art not suck on Adobe Illustrator. So if you guys are new here, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Yeah, this is my first time on the U of Tube, formerly a part of the Twitch squad. But hey, listen, we're going to do all kinds of things. The art doodly do. We're going to do all the different graphic design things like that, and all things nerdy. Yeah, so if you guys love this kind of stuff, go ahead and let me know by, tickling that like button, hitting that notification bell, all the different things. Yeah, so without further ado, let's get back into it. So if we look at his eye, right? Boom. We're getting a little bit more detail, and it's look a little bit better from further out. So that's why I like to zoom in and then zoom out, because a lot of people, what they'll do is they'll stay here and then they'll work something that doesn't look good once you zoom out, right? Zoom out. When in doubt, zoom out, right? So vector is always going to be your friend. So now let's go ahead and go to another place. We're going to go to our nose here. Boom, 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 boom. I'm going to have this. Boom, boom, boom. And boom again. So now you guys are going to understand why I love this shift wicked so much and why I do everything in vectors. Watch this. Bam! Look at that. We just got thick to thin. Just like that. Look at it. Look at it. Now respect it. Respect it. Oh my God. I love this tool. This tool makes my life so much easier. Look at it. This is why you need to do everything in vectors. Look at that. We just got half a face with just a couple of clicks, right? This is why I love this tool so flippin' much, man. Yeah, I mean, that's the one thing. It's just you got to kind of learn not to get hung up on the details. It's easier said than done, because I get caught up on this part all the time. Sometimes something that should have took me an hour turns into a day long project, because I'm sitting there what are you trying to tell me? Talk to me, drawing. You know what I mean? And so, all right. So I love what I'm seeing here and everything. And I know the initial instinct would be to go to the other eye, but I actually don't want to do that quite yet, because there's going to be a couple of things that I need to consider, especially coming off the sketch, right? So now that I'm adding a little bit more detail, I started to know that my eyebrows in my sketch aren't really as even as I thought they were, right? So the thing about when you're doing a portrait from the 3/4 view, if you just start off with the eyebrow and everything, your forehead could look very tiny, right? So you want to kind of flesh this part out first, the side of the face, then do that, right? So that's why I say you never really want to get married to your sketch, because you're still trying to figure out the features of this person, what is going to make this person unique, right? So let's go ahead and let's try some stuff out. So let me see if I can one shot this. If I do, I'm the freaking man. Bing, bing, bing. And what I want to do is I want to add a little bit of character to this chin, because I didn't do that before. So let's go ahead and add a little bit of chutzpah to the character, if you will. Put just a little bit, bam, just like that, and then shift wicked. So we're gonna Command Z that, and then we're gonna come from the side here. But remember, further away, the deeper the lines, the closer we are, the smaller the lines are. And what I want to do is I want to add some little bit of fatness to it. Bam, bam, bam. Okay, so we're getting somewhere. Now this gives me a better frame of work. So now I know, like, okay, so I can manipulate some things here to kind of even out where this face is going, right? So let's go ahead and look at what we got going on. And so stop trying to tell me what to do, Illustrator. I already know how to use you. Sometimes Adobe can be annoying. It's like, this is how you. I was like, look, I'm already a fan. You don't have to sell me, Adobe. You're expensive enough as it is. Okay. Do I want these two guys to match? Kind of, not all the way. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to see what I can do to straighten this out. So let me go ahead and do that right now. Boom. We straighten that part out. Straighten that part out. Let's straighten it out one more time. Boom. There we go. Straightened out. Cool. And I'm going to do this instead. And then just going to straighten this part out. Straighten this part out. There we go. Okay. And so now what I want is I want to kind of bring this in a little bit. So I'm just going to go ahead and just put that there. And then I kind of want to back off of this. So go ahead, Command R. So like the thing I like about having rulers in a program is now I get to see where my eyes are sitting. Are they sitting level, right? And no, they are not. So these little details matter, right? So now I don't have to worry about, because in Photoshop, if I were to do this the ye old fashioned way, right? Like I would have to erase and then go again. Where versus this time, all I got to do is just hit a couple of arrow clicks, and then I get it right where it needs to be. And then I'm just going to click down one more time as well. Boom. There we go. And because since this one is further than this one, what I'm going to have to do here is I'm going to have to make this a little bit thinner than I have it right now. And so by doing that, I got to do an optical illusion. So what I'm gonna have to do is I'm going to have to make this thicker over on this side, make it thinner on this side, thin as humanly possible. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go in and make it a little bit thinner and a little bit thinner while keeping that same width over here. Boom. Now we look like we're getting somewhere, right? So let's go ahead and let's see something. So I know that this is here. So now I can bring this down a little bit more. But watch. It looks off. Why? Well, because remember, we have the second part to the lid that we still need to establish. So if we don't establish that, this is going to look really off, right? So, oh, check this out. So I'm just going to duplicate. Tim, you're cheating. I don't give a fuck. My art skills are maniacal. Okay, hold on. When it comes to digital, like I love both. So like one thing that I think every artist should do is like you need to have a foundation in traditional, right? Because that's the only way that you're gonna learn. So like digital art, however, is like it's quicker. So this is a mix between the two. So like this is a traditional art piece that I'm just lining up in like the digital sense, right? So yeah, so I always like doing a little bit of both. To save time, digital is there, but when you really want to learn your fundamentals and stuff like that, um, definitely see how paint works. You know what I mean? If you want to learn how to color, learn how like things look like in real life, you need to go and draw from life. Like there is no escaping it. I don't care how many YouTube tutorials you look at, even this one, like solid advice is you always want to stay in a traditional sense. You never want to get rid of, being connected to your art, because the more times that you rely on machines to do stuff or rely on software, you don't know if it's you that's making these decisions or is it the software that's making it look good for you. And then just drawing from life, you can't just, like if you're on the bus or if you're like, at a coffee shop or, you're at a park somewhere, you decide that you want to draw someone, like you don't have the time to always to like, pull out your, your iPad or your computer and fire up your favorite software and stuff like that. And then, yeah, like you just want to save yourself some time. So to do that, yeah, just take out your yield sketchbook and like have at it. And then the thing is like, traditional kind of really shows you where you're at as an artist, right? Because like digital, you have the undo button. Traditional, especially like if you draw with pen, not like your mistake is there, so you know exactly what it is that you need to improve on. So like I think you need both, especially in this day and age. So I hop over to the other eye. I'll try this next time I draw 3/4. Yeah, I'm telling you, like it is save your life because you don't know how many times I had like I drew stuff and then like next thing I know, like my eye looked like it was super small. Like it was super small in comparison to the thing that I had. So see, boom. As we proceed, right? Look, we are in the ballpark, right? Again, saving time. And so, oh my God, no. But what did we learn? So if I wanted things to stop moving, I'm just gonna hit Command 2 real quick. That way, that part will stop moving, and then I can bring. Because remember, all this is with drawing with vectors is that you're just manipulating shapes. So if you're doing like manipulating shapes, you know, like no harm, no foul. So you're not really doing the same thing on each side. Just kind of see where it goes. And then boom, just like that. Just like so. And it saves you time. And then remember, now that I pulled this on this side, I have to make sure that this is a lot thinner because we're looking further out, right? Well, not further out. So actually, no, I got to make sure this is a little bit thicker, actually. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to make it a little bit thicker at the base, and that's all I need. So the thing is, like with your thick to thins, you never really, you don't want to do something like this because that's not what you're going for. You're just going for like little, just a little smidgen larger. So that way it just makes sense with the other side of the face, right? Now, however, your details, you have to think about something. Your details are going to be in shadow as well. But since they're going to be in shadow, that means if you're doing line work, they're not going to be as prominent. So here, what I want is I want to make this a little bit smaller than the other side because remember the nose is blocking this thing. So like you need to account for how the anatomy of the face is as well. So look, boom. Everything's starting to look almost even. Whoops. Command is what I want. Command 0. Whoops. Command 0. There we go. So this is actually really coming along. So I'm happy about that. Um, hmm. But this chin, though, what I want to do is I want to kind of straighten it out a little bit. So what I'm going to do is, bam, there it is. That's all I want right there. Because I don't mind that there's a little bit of wave in this line. Because remember, human beings aren't really like they're not blocks, right? They're organic shapes. So even though it may look like a straight line, there is a little bit of give way to it, and it gives it a little bit more character, right? So definitely, we are in it. We are in it to win it. Indeed. So now that I have the other side of my face, I have my other eye where it practically needs to be. Now I can work on my eyebrow here. So it's the same thing. Is that I'm just gonna take this one little line here and then just hit my Shift Wicked or Shift W for those of you playing at home. And this is where you can kind of eyeball it, right? You don't have to be super duper perfect because remember, like a lot of this is going to be on the other side of the face, right? So a lot of people, when they do, is like from what I've seen, is that they kind of try to make it the same, and I'm like, why? Like, remember, like there's the bridge of the nose here, so a lot of the details that you're trying to put in won't make sense. It won't make sense at all. So you want to make sure you're putting things where they make sense. So make it make sense. So I'm going to bring this down a little bit more. There we go. So now that I'm satisfied from where this is at, I'm just going to turn this into shape so I can manipulate it in different ways. So now that I have this point, I can just bring this point back like this, like that. And then what I can do is I can bring this curvature here. Boom. Then what we can do is let's go ahead and straighten this out a little bit. And here we are. So now that we have these things, let's go ahead and what I'm going to do is I'm going to unlock some of this stuff here. So that way we can put this on a new layer. And so now that I'm further enough along where I am kind of confident that we know where the sketch is going to go, I can go ahead and like select these. And then all I'm just going to do is I'm going to cut. I'm going to go to a new layer. Paste in place. Right? And so now cool. So let's look at the before and after. So this is what the face looked like. Just a whole like uneven, have a lot more character in the line art. And the thing is, we're not even anywhere done, but you see where it's going. It's starting to tell, like this guy's trying to tell us who he is, right? So that's the cool part about this whole entire thing. Is that we get to learn his personality, we get to learn a little bit more about him the more that we keep doing this. So the more that we learn about this person, the more that we can make decisions based on what is this person trying to tell us. So now that we kind of got like this part down to where we like it, the best thing to do here is just to go ahead, expand your appearances so it's no longer lines. And then what I'm just going to do is I'm going to hit Command 2 or Control 2 if you're on a PC. And now I'm just going to I'm gonna start adding some little details before we get to the mouth, because the mouth is its own little thing, right? So bear with me. So what we're gonna do is we got to think about something like, how old is this guy, right? So like if I'm thinking of a person like maybe in his 30s and stuff like that, seeing a little bit of life. So what I want to do at this moment is I want to put some lines there that kind of tell that story. And so like some facial lines and stuff that we all have. But because, this person probably doesn't get any sleep, um, let's go ahead and make them more apparent. So we'll take that shift wicket tool, bring it down over here. Boom. About right there. Okay, so we got that going right there. Then what I want to do is I want to add a little something here that does the same thing. So again, what I want to do here is just shrink that down and make it make sense, right? So I'm just going to go ahead and take my shift wicket tool here and make it wide in the middle. So brown here should be fine. Bring it over. Bam. Just like that, we got a little bit more of the detail on the nose here. And then what I want is a little bit more detail on the eyelid as well. So I'm gonna put something a little bit like that. And then don't be afraid to reline stuff too. And so what I'm just gonna do here is I'm gonna go ahead and transform, and I'm gonna reflect this. Rotate it to where I need it to be. Now with this, I'm just gonna pull it up just a little bit more. So that way, when I bring this over here, that makes sense. Tilt it a little bit because we're looking at the tilted eye. So if I'm looking at this tilt, so if anybody's wondering, it's like, Tim, why are you streaming like this? I'm gonna tell you why. Because my goal, as of right now, is to be Black Bob Ross of digital painting. You know what I'm saying? Not a drill sergeant about this thing, but I thought he always had a relaxing style and everything, and I think that's actually really cool. He's kind of like a lo-fi in the personality when he was doing art, and as a kid, that was one of the guys that I used to look up to when it came down to art. As much as I love comic books and stuff like that, Bob Ross has always been a big part of Kid McFly back in the day. Let me see. Let me go ahead and rotation. Thank you, Casper. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, so now we got a little bit more detail on this face here. Um, Also, we want to think about those cheeks as well. Just get your mind out the gutter, perverts. Okay, boom. The only reason why I want to do some some cheekbone action here is because if we look at how like the other side is wrapped up, we can tell that this guy has some sharp features. So we need to reflect that on this side. And if that's in the form of a line, simple, easy peasy, beautiful cover girl. Sweet. All right. Bam. And then all I need to do here is curvature. Curvature this way. Oops. We want to put him this way and give him a little bit of curvature around like that. Or maybe a little bit of curvature. Just slight. Doesn't need to be, as you can see, doesn't need to be like super pronounced. We just want to make sure that we have a little bit there that kind of shows what, you know, that we're working with somebody with a little bit of age to them. So, okay, about right there. Um, I got into digital art because I used to be a part of this like this group online, like forums. I'm dating myself here. So there used to be a forum called Pencil Kings, and like before it was just like a whole bunch of people that was in there. Mark Burnett was in there, a guy named Syker Yassin, Cynics, and like I was a huge fan of their work and stuff. So like I decided like I wanted to get into it. One of the big things that they were into was digital art, right? So like as a kid I was always like good at computers and you know like making websites and stuff like that for fun. So it started off with me just scanning my work and trying to color it digitally, and then like I really didn't start doing like digital art until I got into college, actually, you know what I mean, back in like I think 2014. So I was like a late bloomer. So like before I didn't even want to go to college and to be honest with you. So I was self-taught for like the longest time, and I was always making like I was already making money doing portraits for people and doing other forms of illustration, you know what I mean, like doing you know, like pencils, or I was doing inks for like my friends who were doing like comic books and stuff like that. Some of them actually got their stuff published and whatnot. So like when I started seeing like how much of a skill that this was, and I kind of fell in love with it. You know what I mean? Like it was one of those things I didn't really expect to get in love with, because for like if I would tell you, like I used to hate digital artists. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like I used to hate them like the burning sun. I was like, man, it's like, man, fuck these people. They're taking our art and bastardizing it. You know, like that was me. That was that kid. And but when I started seeing how much skill was actually in it and how much um it was more about convenience, like one of my professors is really what got me really interested in pursuing more so like digital illustration more than anything else, was because he told me, it's like, look, in the hands of a doctor, a scalpel is a tool that can save your life. In my hands, it's just things that cut something. And that resonated with me. And it was just like, oh, okay. Just because, you know, like something may be digital doesn't mean that you don't have the skills to pull it off. right? And so yeah, like I was kind of snooty. Like I was kind of snooty because I was like so it was like, oh my god, I'm like this self-taught art kid, and then like like I thought that was a flex, you know what I mean? And I was like, well, not really. Like, yeah, you can be self-taught all day, but the thing is just like if you don't understand the fundamentals, then what does that mean? Right? Does that mean that you have to go to school to learn the fundamentals? No. For me, those were the only people teaching the fundamentals at the time. So that's what pretty much got me into it. But when I started, I think another thing that kind of got me to was like just the overall ease of it, because like doing traditional art is expensive. Like I'm not sure if you guys had to ever buy paint before or buy like micron pens and sketchbooks. Like over time, like that shit adds up, man. Like it does. It does. And from that, you're like, well, it was like, what do I do? Like, then you get into like programs like Corel Paint, Photoshop, Krita, and then you start seeing your art transform, and it's like, dang, I did that. Yeah, super super duper expensive, man. Um, One thing I will tell you is that like for me, like I think the game changed for me 100% when I started teaching. Like when I was teaching art, that's when a lot of this stuff started really making sense to me. It was like, oh, okay, this is why I should do this, and this is why I should do that or do something a certain way. So I'm bringing this a little bit over this way. Let's see how this looks. So as you can see, like if I turn this layer off, like all the details that I'm making off the ear is just based off observation. You know what I mean? This has nothing to do with the sketch that I had underneath. I'm just making guesses off of just my knowledge of anatomy at this point. So that's another reason why like learning your fundamentals are important, because like you start seeing like shape recognition and different patterns and stuff like that. And it's some things that like school can't teach you, because teach like what they can teach you or what someone else can teach you is how to see, right? Because everybody's perception is different. So there's going to be some things that you're just going to have to learn how to pick up on yourself by yourself. And one of those things is like shapes. How do you perceive this shape, right? Because a lot of people just think, oh, if I see like a triangle, this thing is a triangle. But what about that triangle? Like, is it more sort of like a pyramid? Is it a 2D triangle? Is this something that can, if there's something that seems a little bit on the cuddly side because it's like more rounded, or does it seem like it's sharp and like jagged, or all this other stuff? Like you start getting more into like shape language more so. So boom, look, we have a total ear here, passable, and it's all because of just knowing those fundamentals of the ear. There are like more things that you can put in here, sure, but are we trying to make that detail of a picture? No, we're not in the slightest. So again, guys, if you guys are now just tuning in, my name is Timmy McFly. I'm one of the newest members of the YouTube family and the YouTube space. So this is actually my first stream here. So what we're doing is we're trying to go over your line work in Illustrator to make sure it doesn't suck and anything. And if you're new here, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Like hit the like, all the different things, the notification button, all the stuff. So we're going to try to see what we can do, and we're going to grow together. So like I am the Hokage of the Soul Food Dojo. So yeah, man, we're gonna go over art. We're gonna go all things nerdy, like UX, UI, how to make logos, color theory, all the different things right here on this channel, right? So, and who knows, we may talk about wrestling or two. We may talk about like who gets DDT'd at WrestleMania. So do all the things. Do all the things. Just make sure that above all else, have fun when you do art. Oh yeah, we're gonna be talking about music as well. So like, I want to preference this by saying, like, we're going to be talking about music as well. So for those of you who are hip hop heads or R&B heads or whatever like fan of music you are, like, I have a lot of friends and family members that are like doing music or in the music industry at somehow, and I like talking. So that means we're going to be podcasting it up real soon, right? So just to give you guys a little bit more about me. So like, my name's Tim. I'm actually outside of YouTube. I am a art instructor and a career advisor. So what that means is I look at your portfolios and all that other kind of crazy doodly do, and I show you how to get a job. And so I think there are some things that like I think every artist should know, right? So that's what inspired me to make a channel like this. So hopefully, you guys get a lot out of it. And if you need more information or more of a breakdown, yeah, let your boy know. So let's get back into it. All right, so we got we got ears, we got nose, we have side of head. Now like let's go ahead and let's do this mouth real quick. So now the lips here, like the lips are going to be tricky, right? So the one thing that we want to do is we want to kind of do this bridge that kind of comes underneath your nose, right? So everyone has this kind of bridge. Some are more pronounced than others. And so pretty much it's a really simple shape to do. You're just trying to like if you don't like know how to draw it, just think of an umbrella handle kind of, and I think you'll be 90% of the way there. Right? So let's go ahead and boom. Open this up. Here we go. Bam. Let's thicken it up a little bit more. I think we can. About right there at the max. There we go. All righty. So I think what I'm gonna do is I actually gonna keep it that long. Okay, cool. So when it comes down to the lips are gonna be for guys. It's a little bit less. It's like how can I put it? With guys, you don't really have to do as much as you have to do with girls, and that is why it's a little bit trickier because you have to kind of make sure that you know the lip still reads. Because when it comes down to making lips on girls, it's like there's a lot more detail to it. There's a lot more expressions that you can do. Depending on who it is, the lips are a little bit fuller. Especially like if you're like preparing someone for like makeup, like lipstick or something like that or whatnot. So actually, just lips are easier if you got lipstick to think about or makeup, right? So here, I'm gonna make it a little bit easier for you, right? The best way to know where your mouth should sit is you want to think about the corners of your eyes, right, or the middle. So here, because they were turned, your middle of your eye is going to be somewhere here, right? Same thing with the middle of the eye here, right? But remember, they're kind of a little bit turned and he's looking at us. So I want to go a little bit more here structurally, right? So as long as we sit somewhere in between these two midpoints, we should be okay, right? So does it need to be all the way spot on? Not all the time. Because remember, we are having the fun. Girls, girls all day. Girl, um, they're a lot more fun. They're a lot more fun, and the thing is, like, um, there's a lot less that you have to worry, like you have to worry about, like muscle definition wise. Um, like, how can I put it? Like, guys, the reason why why it's a little bit like harder is because like there is like when guys get muscular, depending on like what type of guy we're talking about, like this guy can be jacked like the Incredible Hulk, and you got thicker neck muscles, and you got a lot more detail that you have to think about, versus like even like feminine figures, they put on muscle, but they don't put in muscle in the same ways, right? So all you're doing is kind of refining like what you already know of the female form, and so like it's kind of easier to keep things in proportion, where like guys kind of depending on things like how big you want this guy, you know what I mean, like they're going to be carrying different muscle forms. You may have to create extra forms. The neck is going to be different, there may be an absence of one, so it's really crazy. Where I say the difficulty for both is like, let's say if you're gonna draw someone a little bit more on the fluffy side, right? Even if they're male or female, or like masculine or feminine, you know what I mean? It's still gonna be hard to do, because you got to kind of think about where the fat is going to sit and what they're going to affect, right? So those are the kind of things that like it's more about the frame of a person. But like if we're talking about just like what's easier to draw on a day to day, it like I would say for me at least it would be the feminine form. So we have a line here um, for the middle of the mouth, right? So there is something that we need to do here. Is that we need to come with that bottom lip, because like that is what's going to sell this, is that bottom lip here. And again, we don't have to do anything super fancy. Let's go ahead and check the work. Let's see what it looks like. Okay, even without the sketch, it still reads. And that is the cool part. So, another thing about the mouth when it comes to this is just like you're still going to be able to color the top lip. The only reason why you're going to make it blank in your line work is because you're going to add that detail in your shading. You're going to add that detail in your final color, right? So like if we were dealing with someone who is wearing a lipstick, 9 times out of 10, what I would have did was I would have made the top lip a little bit darker. Um, but yeah, that's what we're working with. Here we got that little bottom lip here, um, as well. But check this out. So because we're looking at someone with a little bit more of a pronounced chin, we can go ahead and do this number right up in here, and boom. So there's that little underfold that you have right underneath your chin. And so like sometimes like when you're like trying to figure out like things like anatomy or face structure, sometimes reference your own face. That is the best way to know if you're doing something correctly or not, right? Or up to you. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so there's not really too much of a correct way. It's more like to increase the quality of. And so like I think I'm gonna start changing it to that, right? Versus saying, "Are you doing this correctly?" Because I don't want to sound like that guy. But also, you want to be mindful that your character is in a turn position, so you just want to make sure that the rotation of which this sits makes sense, right? Bam, and bam, and bam again. Cool. So we're getting there. So what I'm going to do here is let me go ahead and save this, because if I don't, I know exactly what's going to happen. Like, I'll get to a point and I'm like, yeah, this looks great. And then next thing you know, it's dead. Okay. Bam. Okay. Save and save again. Okay, so this is looking pretty decent here, even though like since we're taking our time with it. Now the thing is, you don't want to worry about speed too much unless you're like working with a deadline. If you're working for yourself, be very exploratory with this, right? You are on your own time frame. Yo, trust me, like usually that's one of the first things that I do. Like as a designer, right? You have your final draft, then you have your final draft copy one, and then like you have your final draft of the final draft. Then it's like, okay, this time it's really the final draft, final copy, final. Okay, and then you have the like the last version, which is I am so sick of this thing. Final copy. So you got a lot of things to work with, you know what I mean? So let us keep looking. Bum, 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 do, 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 do. Let us see. So I know we've been focusing a lot on the head, and I think that's what we're going to keep doing this stream. So we still got a little bit over like 40 minutes to go. So we can get some stuff done. Um, so let's go with this. So we're going to actually start with the hair here. So the hair is the like when you're doing hair, you want to kind of think about big shapes, right? Because you can always do flyaways later. You just want to think about what the shape is going to be, right? Bam. So then we're going to do our shift wicket. About right there. Yeah, like if you treat the hair like shapes, hair will become a lot easier for you. Um, because like if you try to do it any other way, like 9 times out of 10, what you're gonna do is you're gonna run into that point where you're thinking about the individual strands of hair, and that won't be able to help you as much as you want it to. Because trust me, I have lost sleep over like doing hair on characters. You know what I mean? So like when you have like the big hair shape, right? You want to kind of think about this hair shape, the first part of the hair, right? Which is that outline of the head. So we have that part. Now we want to kind of think about the other side. We want to think about like the split of the hair. Like, so we know that the crown of the hair is back here. Another good rule of thumb is if this is like anybody, you want to think about where your hairline actually is. So like a good part to think about it is like at the end of the eyebrow, your like it's usually around like here somewhere. So I'll show you what that looks like with lines, right? So what I want to do is I want to come to where a little bit above here where it starts to curve on the, so hold on so you can see. I want to come where it starts to curve outward, right? So as I curve outward, guess what happens? Now I know where my hairline is supposed to sit on the side. So for those of you who do like black hair, or you have like people with the shape up, this is how you do it. Okay. Boom. And so even if you had to raise this up or down, depending on the age, even if you raise this up, you still want to be right around here. So as soon as this starts changing out, this is the same thing. Now, what you could do is you can add like some more hair here for like sideburns, and then that's totally up to you, right? And so one thing that I like to do in hair, especially like if it's like the Caucasian friends or something with a little bit more of a straighter hair, I like to kind of give out the band kind of thing. So I'll show you guys what I mean in a second. So I kind of want to like go at the top of this ear and go straight like that. Because now that gives us a sense of where that would have been. Maybe you went to a barber or something like that. Cool. And then the thing is, what I want to do is I want to kick this back a little bit and then bring it. The thing is, like, you never want to bring it past the eyebrow here, because if you bring it past the eyebrow, your hairline is up like way too low, right? And so yeah, like now we have that. And then another trick that I like to do is like, you don't want to just have Patchy Matt Patcherson here, right? So all you just want to do is bring a line. Cancel. You kind of just want to bring a line to like to the party, right? And then you just want to move it over to where you need it to be. Hit your shift wicked. Boom. Now we have a more solid of a hairline. The other side that we want to think about is, what is it going to look like coming over? So we, in the sketch, we have this kind of like comb over thing here. So what I want to do is I want to kind of represent that. So real quick, all I'm just going to do is I'm going to just come from here to right about here. And then what I'm just going to do here is I'm going to take my curvature tool and just curve this thing up. And so the reason why I want to do it that way is because if I decide that I want to just simply just copy that over, boom, I can, right? But again, the human hair is not like that. And if you try to do something like that, it may not read like you want it to. And so we're going to keep doing it just like we've been doing it before. Just hitting there a little bit of a shift wicked here. You want to knock out the big shapes first, and all the other details and stuff like that is going to come like way later. And so we have that. And then, whoops, that's not what I meant. We have that. And then we have the part of the head here. So we can bring this over here. We can bring this line over here. And then what we can do, another thing that we can establish is where the forehead is, right? So if the forehead is here, then that means that this is a little bit too pronounced. So what we just want to do is we want to break this back up a little bit to like about right there. Because we're going to be filling in the majority of this. So all we want to do is we want to start just putting down where our bundles are going to be. Because remember, hair doesn't is not something that just sits on top of your head. They go in like the way it grows out of your head, it grows out in these different like patches. So like one part of your head may be like growing backwards, one part may be growing forwards, one other part may be going back. The way we style it is usually around how our hair grows and what direction and rotation that it grows in, right? So usually people who have a split in their head, they usually are it grows up and then falls to the sides, right? And so this guy is like that. So what we're gonna do here is I'm starting to notice that here I relied too much on the sketch. So now we have something a little bit different, a little bit out the way. So what I want to do now is I want to kind of fix that. So how do I fix it? Easy. Just move things around. Now, this is starting to make a little bit more sense because now it's starting to read a little bit better. So now that it's reading a little bit better, let's see what we can do in order to get us where we need to be. And so how do we do that? We're just going to take our UO pen tool here, and then we're going to draw a line straight back. And then we're going to keep this one thin. Super duper 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 thin. So we're going to shift wicked. Bring that point down to about right there. And then what I'm going to do is widen that up about here. And I want to bend it a little bit more. So I'm going to take this end and then I'm going to bend it this way. I'm going to go in the middle and give us a little bit of swooping motion. Okay, cool. I'm going to arch this up just a little bit. Cool. Now, from what I'm seeing here, like I'm seeing that this is actually like his hair is falling from side to side, but on the sides here, they're kind of being combed a little bit like toward the back, right? So I'll show you how I would handle this is bam, bam, and then bam, like right there. So here, because as you can see here, now that we got this swooping motion, this part it actually gets us a little bit easier because guess what? We don't even have to take all these lines all the way to the back like we once had to, right? And I'll show you what I mean. Because once we make new lines here, this is going to help us give that illusion of volume, right? That's what it is an illusion of volume. So let's go ahead and let's do that real quick. And so like I'm just going to put a couple lines like here, a line here, a line here, a line here, and maybe a line like right there, right? And once we move it back, boom. You see how that kind of like, oh, that's awesome. Oh man. Like I'm telling you, vectors will actually change your life when it comes down to just the ease of use, right? Like again, like I'm one of those people that I'm sort of like a lazy artist. Like I love doing things the easier way, and there's a trick that I can do that kind of um, help me make sense of what it is that I'm doing. I'm going to choose it every time, right? So for me, vectors is the way to go because I don't have to worry about things like exporting and all that other stuff. I have everything that I need, right? So right now, all it is just let's go ahead and get this lines where we need to go. So we just go ahead. And all we're doing is we're tilting the lines down, right? To kind of give that cylindrical kind of way about it, right? And then with this one, all we're just going to do is then swoop down, swoop down a little bit, like right there. And now it's time for us to take our shift wicket tool. And then all we just got to do is, so with hair you want to kind of thicken it by the base, right? Not too much, but you want to kind of thicken it at the bases because then it's a little bit more readable in that sense. Just a little bit too much on that one. Bam. Hey, I mean, that's what it's all about. Like, if you guys aren't learning anything or like the level of difficulty is a little bit too high, like I want you guys to let me know because this is what I want. Like, this is what I want. I wanted to make art made simple. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want people who've been doing art for a long time to feel like they are under any type of pressure. You know what I'm saying? Because too many times we hear too many people say, "Oh yeah, you can learn how to do this in like 5 minutes, or you can learn how to do this in like 2 hours, and this is going to be professional." And it's like, no, it's not. Um, because all it is just knowing the basics and knowing how your tools work and just how to observe stuff. Like no tutorial outside of your own observation is going to be that deciding factor. But if I can show you a technique that can make your life easier while you're learning and going through your own art journey, I have done my proverbial job. Boom. So that's how like that's how we handle the hair, right? So with this one here, since it's like a little bit more toward the back, cool. I can just bring this up, just bring it right there. Bam. Here we go. Bam. And see, that's how you get your hair to read. So we just read it on the side. And again, just like the eyebrows here where we have these little flyaways, same thing with your the same thing with your sideburns as well too, right? Show them some love. Show the sideburns some love, right? Put a Hey, all you just need just a few lines. You don't need too much, right? Put those there. Bam. And then just, just like anything else, put a little bit of curvature to it. I like to say, put a little bit of sauce on it. And hit your shift wicked. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is how you just, all it is with art is just like cooking. You're just adding your seasonings, right? Just, sometimes you just gotta let things marinate, let them cook, and then boom, there you have. You have this here as well. And the cool thing about like working with vectors is stuff like is that it kind of gives you a low pressure environment because the thing is, as you've been noticing, like I'm not even using a Wacom tab. I'm actually using a mouse, right? And so like that's all I'm using. I'm using keyboard and mouse at this point, right? That's why I encourage anybody, who has a vector program to learn it, to do vector illustration, because you can definitely just learn how to draw in a sketchbook, take a picture on your phone, upload it to your computer and whatnot. And then just, like this is a good way to like learn how to do digital art, but at the same time, just, just do it at your own pace. You know what I mean? You don't have to have the Wacom tablets, all the different things and whatnot. Like, yeah, and like, do I have a Wacom tablet? Yes, I do. But like, do you need it all the time, even for professional work? Not really. Like, I can tell you right now, I've been a professional artist for now. I'm 35 now, for like the last 17 years, and I only use my Wacom tablet, like I would say probably about like a handful of times, right? Usually this is just what I do. Like, don't let the internet let you think, like make you think like, oh, I need this before I can be the greatest artist in the world. Like, no, that's not how this works. You know what I mean? It's all about just like the story you want to tell and then the way you want to express yourself. And if you got a good understanding of how you want to do those things, yeah, everything else is just going to come through where you need it. And so here we have a little bit of boom, boom, and boom. Right? But check this out. What we're going to do is we're going to do a little bit of here, here, here. And then all we're just going to do here is mess with some of these. Not all of these are going to make it all the way down to the split. This one will. This one won't. This one. This one for sure. We're going to make it so it does meet the split. And then cover up the other angle for this one. And boom. There we go. Make that a little bit thicker right there. And boom, we could just make some of these a little bit straighter. There we go. Make that a little bit straighter. Oh, thank you very much. Thank you very much. And we're just making things as straight as we possibly can, but we're not trying to overdo it because it's hair. Hair is wild. So like are you going to be drawing a full head of hair? No, we just want to make sure that this is enough to read, right? That's all it is, legibility. And so think less about volume and more about legibility. Does this read as hair, right? If so, you have done your job, right? So what I want to do is now I want to back off this, right? So what I want to do is I want to turn off my sketch for a second. And does it still read as hair? Because sometimes like you can suffer from what I like to call sketch blindness, right? Where you're doing a whole lot of line work because you're basing it on the sketch and the thing that's underneath it. And then this stuff won't be able to read when you turn this off, right? So now that we turned off our sketch, this is a lot, this is readable still, right? And that means that we are on the right track, right? So let's turn it on. Let's keep going, right? So now this is going to be a little bit different than like how we did it down here. It's going to be almost similar how we did it here, but we're just going to do it in the opposite direction. Um, so all I want is I want the come from this one is actually going to go a little bit longer than we need it. Longer than we need it. And then remember with hair, as much as you know, like I wish this was true in real life, less is more. uh oh man. The betrayal of the hairline. My mortal enemy. Okay. Bam. And let's look at differences here. So we want to make sure that this is okay. Have that curvature there. Bring this over here. And what I'm also going to do is because this is so far away from this, I'm actually going to make sure that this is united with this one. So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab this point here by itself, drag it over, and then this little handle here is called the Bezier handle. So I want to drag this Bezier handle up here and then boom, kind of give me that curvature that I'm looking for. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to do my shift wicket here to make this end at a point. Boom. Remember, on your line work, you don't want to have everything closed like like a coloring book, right? Because a lot of this is remember, you're doing digital art. So a lot of this stuff you're not even going to see and a lot of this is going to be covered up with shapes. You know what I'm saying? With the colors and everything else like that, things fade, things, whatever. But like all we're doing here is we're just making sure that like again, we just are looking for legibility. We're not really looking for, realistic accuracy or realism, as I should say. So I'm gonna back this one off here, write this down. But I'm gonna want it to hit here. And I want this weird kind of slooping motion here. And like that. So it kind of gives us this organic wave here. Make it a little bit thicker. Boom. Awesome. Okay, and then what we want is we're gonna I'm just gonna put another line here, trying to help us kind of get to that point where we know that this is kind of shifting in the way that is actually setting. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get my curvature tool over here, and I'm just gonna come down just like so. No more, no less. Boom. So since that's there, I'm just gonna copy this over just a couple of times more and just rotate these things. So I got one on one side, one on the other side. Maybe make this one a little bit thicker just to give some variation to it. Some things, that's all you're making it thicker for, is just for like variation, not really for like nothing more than that. There's no like technical reason for it. You just want to kind of just acknowledge the fact that, you know, like the hair that you're creating here is organic. That's it. Because hair is not uniformed. We're just going to make that, whoops, made it a little bit too thin. Make that a little bit thinner. Cool. So, okay, cool. Now we kind of got some things that we got up here that seems a little bit on the missing side, right? So what I'm just going to do is I'm just going to copy this here, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to rotate it so it makes sense for what we're trying to do. Whoops, no. So I'm just going to go ahead and lock. I'm not going to lock that down. So I'm going to catch this, and I'm just going to rotate it. Drag another one. Bam. And drag another one. Bam. And remember, name of the game, readability. Does it read like this person is like living a dream? Do they have the hair? Do they got the locks? So with this right here, the way that this is being pulled back, it's not really honoring this. So this is looking more like a shave tape, right? So like what I want to do is I want to kind of change that up a little bit. So that way we can see the clear distinction. So all I want to do is I just want to straighten this out a little bit. Bam. Straighten it out. Bring this up just a little bit. Boom. And then what I want to do is I want to duplicate this. Right? So I'm going to duplicate this. I'm bringing this all the way down to the end here, because we do need some hair coming from that side that reflects the change that's happening. Right? So definitely gonna sweep that over this way. And just gonna straighten that part out. And then with this part, I'm just gonna bring this over like so and make it kind of a little bit more on the straighter side. And then I'm gonna make this a little bit more on the straighter side. Kind of give it that little bit of like wavy kind of variation there. So we know that this is that change up in hair. So to kind of not make it look so bold here, I'm just gonna shrink this one down a little bit. Carrie, what is up? What is up? Welcome, welcome, welcome to the first ever YouTube stream. We're doing some art. We're going over some hair here. Doing all the things. Doing all the things, man. Thank you guys for coming. Shout outs to Big CL, man. Like Cielica, if you haven't already, go over there and follow her, man. She is the delight. She is one of my best friends in the entire world. Like she has gracefully brought like people from like her neck of the woods over there to holler at your boy. So yeah, let's go ahead and if we can shout her out. She has songs on multiple different platforms. You know what I mean? Go on over there and check them on out. She will be under CL in all platforms. Apple Music, Spotify, you name it, she's on it. New single out, Show Love. Heck yeah. Like, yo, I appreciate y'all. I really do. Appreciate y'all. All right, cool. So, yeah, like when it comes down to this hair, as y'all can see, you just want to kind of go back and forth as long as it makes sense, as long as it reads, right? Because once you color this, then that's when it starts like making the most sense. Then you know how to like, because the thing is, what you want to do is you want to kind of like, yeah, you want to establish that there's hair here, but you also want to think about the form as well too. So a easy way to kind of think about this is you want to think about these in bigger shapes, right? So even though we know that this is like a comb over kind of like deal here he has going on, right? We know that this is going to be cylindrical in nature. So when we color this, we know where how the light is supposed to fall off of this. We know that coming down here is going to be a little bit of a valley. So we know there's going to be some shadows coming from here. And there's also going to be some shadows coming from this end. And then we're going to have that kind of like bulb thing happening here because again, cylindrical this way. So it kind of gives you a better idea of how to color hair as a whole, right? And so you always just want to, turn off. You want to turn off your sketch. You want to look at it again. You want to make sure you're going in the right direction. If so, then you want to keep going, right? So, boom. Awesome. Keep going. So everything here is where I like it to be. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to expand shapes, expand these lines into shapes. So that way, like later on, I can color them all at the same time if I need to, or if I want to, all the different things. And so, bam, we have that down. Now let's go ahead and knock this part out. And once we do that, we'll put a pause. We'll put pause. We'll talk a little bit about some things to expect when first getting into vectors. And like, what is this good for? So let's go ahead and finish that up, and then we'll get into the schmiegel, right? Or the spiegel. And so again, I know that the base here is going to be from here. I'm not trying to do these huge thingamabobbers here. Bam. There we go. Here, and I'll have one more about right there. Cool. And then I'm just going to use my curvature tool, bounce some things up. Bam. And so what I'm doing is I'm curving these up and then I'm pulling these hairs down because, like, remember, this is a bigger shape. So I want to make sure I honor that curvature, right? And then once I have all the lines where I need them to be, I'll go ahead and hit them with the shift tool and all that other stuff. If I couldn't draw, what else would I be doing? That's actually a good question. So, okay. So, one thing about me is like back where I'm from, a lot of people didn't know I drew in the first place. Like I was known for like rapping and then I also was known for like martial arts. And so like they either thought that I was going to try to make it big in rapping or I was going to be a martial arts instructor. So like I did a did like martial arts instruction for about like 2 years, you know, training like basic like kickboxing and self defense and things of that nature. But um, it's one of those things that like I'm passionate about as more of a personal thing than I am as something that I want to teach the entire world. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not here trying to like win championships and stuff like that. I just do it like as a form of exercise. You know what I'm saying? Like a way just to keep in shape and you know if God forbid like if I had to defend myself like I know what to do, you know what I mean? So like but yeah, those were the two things that people thought like I was gonna do. um Another thing that I probably would have done if I couldn't have gotten art is I probably would try to get in more into like cooking. um Cooking is one thing that I love to do for fun. I love food. You know what I mean? Professional fat boy. You know. And so yeah, like I that's the kind of stuff that I love to do. You know. So if not music, it was gonna be one of the other. The thing is, like I still do music. I'm actually like I'm working on writing some like lyrics and stuff like that now. Um, like my brother's a recording engineer. We actually started a business together, multimedia business. So like I also do like photography, videography, and stuff like that. And like the main thing that I really get paid for is like graphic design and motion graphics. So like not only do I make graphics, but I know how to make a move and all that other stuff as well. So like animating like lower thirds, loading screens, that kind of stuff. And so yeah, so bam, as you can see, the hair reads, and we got it right where we need it to be. Let's go object, expand. Cool. So honestly, like I went to school for digital art and design, and the thing about digital art and design is like you're kind of like a Swiss Army knife of like tricks and stuff like that when it comes to like making visuals for media and whatnot. Um, all of it is relatively the same stuff. So like I'm not gonna sit here and tell you like, oh, you can't do it. Like I'm like this m- like monster of a creative or anything else like that. It's like nah, like let's take CL for instance. You know what I'm saying? Like she's multifaceted too. Like she does music and she like does social media and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like 9 times out of 10, most people who are really passionate about creative ventures are right. And the thing is like sometimes you just don't know like how much this can like what skill you're gonna actually like lead off with and everything. Like people who know me now like they're like, oh yeah, you're the art guy. People who know me back from my hometown, they're like, it's like, dang dude, you still rapping? It's like, and then you got another side of my hometown, it's like, hey dude, you're still trying to flip people. Like so it's like it's confusing the way like life goes, you know what I'm saying? You never know like what thing is going to like drive you the most, right? And for me, it's always been the thing that's been making me like most of my living has been in education and art, you know what I mean? Um like I don't know, like I just know for one thing for sure is that like art is the thing that saved my life. You know what I mean? Like I grew up in not the best of areas. So, you know what I mean? Like while like I had a lot of people in my neighborhood get in trouble, I stayed home. Like I stayed home and like I watched my anime, I drew in my sketchbooks, I wrote my stories, I wrote my raps, and like being creative is what kept me like off the streets. You know what I mean? Like I've been in place, like I've been in situations where people that like I met yesterday are on a T-shirt within a week. You know what I'm saying? Like, and as a kid, like when you come to that realization early, you know what I'm saying, life kind of looks different for you. You know what I mean? And so for me, like I never been that type of person that's like, oh yeah, look, I'm so gangsta, I'm from the hood, you want to be in the. I'm like, nah, dog. Like I'm glad that I'm out. I'm glad that I'm doing way better now. I'm glad that like I can say that my family's not in that situation anymore, and then like all of us are in bigger and better things. I'm like I'm a regular guy who loves nerdy stuff, who likes sharing my nerdiness with the world. And so yeah, like if I can be like anybody right now, Cass, I'll be like you. Straight up. like you're coolest thing since sliced bread. All of you actually, you know what I'm saying? All of you had these unique journeys and stuff like that. And like those times we kicked in like CL's stream and whatnot was actually pretty cool for me as well. You know what I mean? Like I got a chance to know a lot of you like through the 31 day challenge she just completed. Congrats to her, by the way. Like just to see like how much like how many stories you guys have, and like the things that you've been through, man. Like yo, that's nothing but inspiring to me. Like out of like out of anywhere you guys could have ended up, you ended up rocking like over on this side. You know what I'm saying? And it even amazes me that you guys even came over here on this side of things. So like I'm grateful for anyone that I get, you know what I'm saying? But like just like dang, man, I'm very appreciative of all y'all. TCDN, what's up? How you doing, my friend? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to the Soul Food Dojo. You know what I'm saying? I am your Hokage, Tim McFly. You know what? Let me go ahead and put this Discord. Like, since this is my first day on the YouTube, I keep forgetting to put like things as simple as the Discord link up in there. So let me go ahead and get this invite here. Let me go ahead and copy this link here. Bam. So, you guys want to join the Discord and everything else like that. We have revamped all the different things, man. Come on in, you know what I'm saying? Like, tell it, like, if you guys got topics, share your art, man. Share your stories, man. Share everything with your boy. You know what I mean? Yeah, we're going to be growing together. So, like, as, like we start this journey, it's going to be a lot of ups and downs, but for sure, man, like, I appreciate every one of y'all. Please hit the like button, do all the things, like I said, this is my first adventure on the YouTube, so I'm just trying to see how it goes, man. For the most part, what I want to do starting off is I want to do a lot of tutorials, but there's a couple of conversations that I want to have with budding artists first, you know what I mean? And one of those is like how to get into the creative field as a career, you know what I mean? Not just, drawing for fun, but like how to get paid for the thing. And like, I feel like there's a lot of information that's gatekept. And I think if people would have know these little secrets, you know what I mean? Life would be so much easier for a lot of people Case in point, there's something out there called the applicant tracking system, right? So, like, what is that? So, the applicant tracking system is this algorithm that scans your resume and then places it against the job description. Anything else that is like 75% or higher, automatic pass. Anything that's 74% and lower, the lower the score, the less likely your resume is going to get into human hands, right? So just by having a couple of, whoa, wait a minute, I just got a subscription. Thank you so much, TCDN, for subscribing. Welcome a part of the Soul Food Nation. Okay, so yeah, man, like when it comes down to that applicant tracking system, people who would have otherwise like hired you based upon an interview may not even get a chance to see your resume just because you may have a couple of keywords off, right? And the thing is, it's not even widespread. Like places like LinkedIn, Indeed, they'll tell you like, hey, yeah, you can, download a resume from us, but these things aren't ATS or applicant tracking system friendly, right? So you may think just because this is a job finding website, professional website or whatever, that they have your best interest in mind. All that stuff that they can help you with though, like past like resume scanners and all that other stuff, is behind a paywall, right? And a lot of people are like, yo, like I'm just trying to get a job so I can pay for stuff like this. You know what I mean? Like, but I'm like, you know what? I don't think, stuff like, people trying to better themselves and all that other stuff should be behind a paywall, right? So one of my objectives here is to make sure if you're starting your creative career, you know where to start. You know what I mean? Because like when I was going through it, I didn't know where to start either. So it was like, I have all these skills. I watched all these tutorials. I went through all these certifications. How do I do? You know what I mean? So like, that's where I'm at with it. Like, I want to make sure that anything that we're doing, is like 100%, like above board. Like, yo, like I want to give you guys a fighting chance, and hopefully, man, you know what I mean? Like hopefully like you guys can find something that can better yourselves, or like even if you find information that like you would like me to share and everything else like that, like this is a team effort from where I'm sitting at, you know what I mean? Like there's no stone that I'm not willing to unturn when it comes to creative careers and budding creatives, you know what I mean? Yeah, so that's what you guys can expect. I know it was kind of long winded, but the thing is, like, I'm borderline emotional right now because, like, you guys have really made my first night on the YouTubes really cool, and I respect every last one of you for it, and like I thank all of you for stopping by and all the other stuff, man. So yeah, I'm like, yeah, hopefully you guys keep rocking with me, and I know we're gonna have some fun. We're gonna do a lot of the things, man. A lot of the things. Cass, shout outs to you. Shout out to Cass. Like, also Cass is a streamer too. I just found this out. So like, yo, go over there. Yo, Cass, put your stuff in the chat. Put your stuff in the chat. You know what I'm saying? I need y'all to go over there. You know what I'm saying? Follow her. Follow her. She's going to be a part of this journey as well. You know what I'm saying? Like, she is a witness, but also she's a soul food warrior. You know what I mean? So I want you guys to, like anytime, like you guys are doing something or whatever, make sure y'all message me. I like to be inside these things. You know what I'm saying? Go in, look at it, be like, that's my dog. Get money. So yeah, man. Yeah, man, we're going to have a lot of fun up in here. All right. So now let's go ahead and recap what we just learned to Dizzle, right? So when it comes down to vector art, reason why you want to do this thing is this is actually the best art when you're trying to make things like t-shirts, all the different things in between. Why? Because you're not dealing with with vectors, you're not dealing with pixels. You're dealing with mathematical equations. So what that means is basically no matter how big or how small, the quality is always going to be the same. So you don't have to worry about. I have my own Discord. So I have my own Discord. Uh, Hold on, let me see. Did I give you guys the right Discord? Hold on, hold up, son. Yeah, that's the link that I just put in there. You know what I'm saying? That is my dojo. Let me go ahead and put it in there again. Put it in there again, just in case, just in case. Did it go through? Did it go through? Oh no. Let me see. Okay, yeah. So I posted twice. All right, like an idiot. Okay. All right. So cool. Um, yeah, guys. So like going through it again, vector art is just top tier, especially like if you're doing things like logo, t-shirt designs, or anything that has to do with um, what you call it. Um, or anything that has to do with webs too, because like let's say if you make a like if you make a website and whatnot, you can actually bounce out the svg, which is like pretty much a standard vector graphic, right? Or like hopefully that's right. But like you can put an svg and that will be like the logo that you see at the top left hand corner of your screen. They'll always go home. So like YouTube itself, like if you see that YouTube icon, you can click it and it goes back to the home page. Like they only had to upload it once because of SVG. So depending on what device you're on, it's always going to show up in an appropriate size because again, it's a mathematical equation. So it's one of the most practical of art forms out there when it comes to vectors, and like I think it's one of the most slept on, because you know like when it comes to Photoshop you do get that painterly look. So it also depends on what you're trying to do. So if you're trying to do something like a painterly kind of look or whatever, then yeah, Photoshop is going to be the thing for you because that's going to be in raster graphics. That invite link expired. Hold on. Do I have to change my settings in this thing? Like, see, this is why. Again, it is not a Tim McFly stream. If we don't if we don't have technical difficulties. So like, of course, my like the of course the Discord. Of course the Discord doesn't work. Because why? Because why would it? Um edit invite link. No limits. Never generate new link. Copy. Try that one. Try that one. Please work. Please work. Please work. Please work. Please work. Kingfisher 9000. Kingfisher 9000. Who can tell me where that's from? Like Kingfisher 9000. If you guys watched Nickelodeon back in the 90s, you know exactly where that's from. Damn, I'm dating myself so much here. Let me know if that works. Let me know if that works. Yeah. Superhuman samurai. Cyber squad. Sorry. All right, man. Thank you so much, man. Thank you so much for that subscription. Thank you so much for joining the dojo. You know what I mean? Next time I swear we're gonna have some music up in here. Like for some reason Spotify didn't like it, just turned off on me and didn't want to work. Like so I had to like uninstall it, reinstall it, and still wasn't working in OBS. So yeah, man. We're like today is the first day, but of course, you know, like we are going to power forward. And as we grow as a squad and as a team and stuff like that, you're going to see a lot of things happen on this channel. One of those things is definitely, hold on, let me go ahead and switch scenes because you guys are looking at me on a tiny window. So one of the things that are definitely going to change up here is that we're going to actually get podcasts going, but like, no, this is not going to be one of those male podcasts. No, no, never, never. Okay. like, um, like I'm just a stick. Like I'm just someone who loves creative stuff, right? So, and I like to see what the thought process was behind certain things. So, like, if there's a song out there and I know the artist who made it, yeah, I'm gonna bring them on and I want to ask them questions about it. Like, yo, like, what got you in the mood to write this song, like, or like make this beat? What made you even paint this picture? Things like that. You know what I mean? So, like, and it's not one of those things like you got to have a ton of clout to be on this thing. Like, nah. If oh man, I am frozen again. I am frozen again. See, see what I'm talking about? You see what I'm talking about, man? This is the struggling. Oh, we have a new subscriber. yo, I am humbled. I am humbled. The great Carrie Beans has now subscribed. Yo, thank you guys so much, man. Yeah, but like again, we're gonna have some cool stuff up in here. You like one of the first podcasts that we're going to be doing is going to be with my brother Showboat to Don. He's currently working on a new project, but he has two projects out that are on Apple Music and Spotify. You know what I mean? So Sex Appeal 1, Sex Appeal 2, and like maybe one day I can get the courage to actually, boom, there it is. There it is. You know what I'm saying? Like she just had to tell me in chat that she subscribed. And you see how late that thing just showed up, man. You see how much the ether, like the ether now is against your boy. No, I'm messing with you. Let me see here. Just so y'all don't be thinking I just be talking out the end and just go like, Tim, you don't rap, do you? I was like, I guess I do. Hold on, let me see if I can make this happen. Let me see. SoundCloud. SoundCloud. No, I don't want to sign in. Do I have to sign in? No, I don't. No. Okay, so let's go with. Hold on, can you guys? Let me see if you guys can hear that. Because I don't know, I didn't think of it to be honest with you. Like I was like I like reading lyrics and funny accents. That's just how I do things. Hold on, let me see. Oh, hold up. Let me see. Audio capture. Screen capture. Nope. Let me mute this. Let me go to my settings on this thing. Properties. Desktop audio